because they're showing that turnkey package that we provide. A lot of our competitors only just do lighting or just do sensors or software. What we're providing is that whole turnkey package for growers, farmers, who they can become reliant on. We've got to remember we've been doing it for 30 years, and we've really got a good name in the market. And so if we can provide that one-stop shop for our clients, then we can really see the traction here in the UK and Europe.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Science Technologies CEO Simon Deacon. Simon, good to speak with you today. Could you give us a breakdown of the £300,000 in terms of hardware, services, software, etc.?
Good morning, Stephen. Good to see you again. The breakdown, it's a university research centre. So it has over 20 zones within it and a commercial glasshouse. And we're supplying and installing the software, the hardware. And so the breakdown is lighting, environment, computer, sensors, and motors for dosing for irrigation and plant nutrients. So that's around about 60% is the hardware. And then the maintenance and installation is between 20 and 25%. And then the software side, which brings it all together. So it's live streaming data, managing the whole of the commercial glasshouse and these various zones for research, is around 15 to 20%. So it really brings it all together.
Simon, how scalable is the maintenance revenue model across a project and across the business more generally?
Yeah, we do around 30 to 40 commercial glass houses a year in maintenance. So you can imagine up and down the country, we cover either installing or repairing equipment within these commercial glass houses. And what we see is, and a lot of times is, growers are looking to maximize the efficiencies as we see rising costs going up, if it be nutrients or fertilizers. How can they manage those costs and labor costs? And so if we can provide the equipment and automate a glass house, and so we see that rising currently, and we see that rising here in the UK, but also internationally as the more newer glass houses happening, certainly in Europe.
Does this contract act as a reference size for future sales, Simon?
Yeah, absolutely, Stephen. What we're seeing is, last year we announced a Nottingham Trent University research, and that's had an uplift since we announced it of over 30% in extra revenue for this year for that particular project. And so both of these, the one in Wales that we've just announced for 300,000, will be really good showpieces for us because they're showing that turnkey package that we provide. A lot of our competitors only just do lighting or just do sensors or software. What we're providing is that whole turnkey package for growers, farmers, who they can become reliant on. We've got to remember we've been doing it for 30 years, and we've really got a good name in the market. And so if we can provide that one-stop shop for our clients, then we can really see the traction here in the UK and Europe.
How does this support your positioning in AgTech?
I think it really supports us, the strengths really of what we're providing. As I mentioned, that turnkey suite of products for our clients. But what we're seeing, in the global turmoil is, food, where we get our food from, and the farmers and growers, we really need to support and get behind. Food security has become a lot more important. So if we can find and help them manage their input costs and lower those, then they can start becoming profitable. There's challenges for them every day of the year in costs and conflicts were happening around the world. So it's important that we support them with tech, with installation, with new equipment, modernizing efficiencies, and that's what we're providing.
I mean, staying with food security, Simon, how are geopolitical and global supply chain challenges accelerating demand and localized food production?
If you look at the geographical demands and what's happening in the world, fertilizer costs, if we just touch on those, a lot of our fertilizer for around the world comes through those straits in the Middle East, which are currently being blocked. Obviously, commercial glass houses use a lot of gas for heating, and farmers use a lot of fuel. So, those costs are rising. So it has a huge impact in where our food is coming from. It's no longer can be guaranteed just in time. And so I think we will see is this year, if you look at the Northern Hemisphere, generally are planting or have planted what they need for the season. So March and April being the planting areas and seasons to plant crops. But I think latter part of this year, we're going to see a lot of issues with food security if the war in the Middle East continues. And I really do think that, we are providing a monitoring system to support growers in what inputs they're putting in so they can lower those inputs and still try and get the best yields for what crops they're growing. So I think there's going to be certain challenges ahead for growers and farmers. And if we can support them as a tech company, an installation company of our product, then hopefully we'll manage to get through this current situation, which is happening globally.
Well, Simon, thank you very much for your time today. Good speaking with you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Simon Deacon, the CEO of Light Science Technologies.